What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Iron Maiden after a while. We're going to listen to, I think, the only tune from Somewhere in Time, 1988, I haven't reacted to yet, although, again, the rest of these reactions are at least a year, maybe more ago, and my video probably will look a lot grainier than it does now. But the point is, Deja Vu is not one I've reacted to, and it's a really interesting song lyrically, because it's one of those postulations about human cognitive experience and, let's say, ontological nature, meaning it asks the question, you know when you have those conversations that you swear you've had before, you know when you have that feeling that you've been somewhere before, that you've done exactly what you're doing, but you really don't think you have in this life? Well, maybe you have been here before in a different life. Maybe time is a flat circle, as people will reference Nietzsche and others who've commented on this kind of concept, but it suggests that maybe those moments aren't so idiosyncratic cognitively, and maybe they speak to a deeper, fundamental, philosophical, or indeed metaphysical nature. And, you know, although I have misgivings or skepticism about that, I would say that there are times where I've had conversations that give me that feeling, that trigger that impulse, although in my case, some of it is amusing in the sense that when I was in grad school and even as an undergrad and I would work on research papers or I'd just be working on different assignments, I would parse things out vocally, meaning I'd be reading a monograph or I'd be writing my own paper, and I start thinking about concepts, and I just feel like if you force your brain to articulate things in actual language, you quickly learn how well you understand or don't understand it, because you won't have the terminological hardware to express if you don't really understand it on different sides. So I would talk about concepts out loud. Flash forward a month, a year, 10 years later, and I'd be in a conversation about something like, oh, wait a minute, I've had this conversation before. I swear I've said that exact thing before. Who was I talking to? Oh, wait, I was talking to myself. And people will be like, oh, okay, sure. So yeah, I have had that experience many times, and although I remain skeptical about assigning it to a multi-life, almost eternal existence, I will say I do know what it's like to be just amazed at the specificity and familiarity of an experience or a conversation that is new, that has not happened before as far as you know. So it's a tune that I think is very interesting lyrically. It's a fast tune, it's rocking, it's, you know, maybe not their craziest tune from the album even in terms of the sonics, but it's definitely one where I feel like the intensity of that feeling is conveyed by the sound. So let's hear it. This is Iron Maiden from Somewhere in Time, and the track is Deja Vu. I love that riff. Harris on the bass. Had to comment on it just before it ended. It's like sometimes I get lost in Bruce's vocals, sometimes the guitar work, especially when they're sort of overlapping each other or both flourishing at the same time. But yeah, despite all that, Steve Harris's bass comes through, and at the end it was really standing out. So yeah, I love, again, that Castlevania style riff, which I haven't done one of these videos in a long time, but for people who haven't seen the earlier Iron Maiden videos, I talked in a few different reactions about sometimes they do these riffs that have this energy and this drive, and they make me think of Castlevania Nintendo games, because those games had very pulse-pounding music, and it's dark and a bit wicked, because, you know, in those games you're trying to take down Dracula in the castles of Transylvania. So there's just certain guitar parts in particular in their tracks where it makes my brain go to a similar place. It's dark, it's driving, it's got a bit of mystery, it's a bit wicked, but it's badass at the same time. So that's what I mean when I say Castlevania Iron Maiden, and this one has definitely that flavor in that main guitar riff that I highlighted, as well as the other configuration, which is very similar. It has that same sort of high melodic edge to it. So yeah, the guitar work, fantastic, and again, those lines, they really do speak to that experience of deja vu. And although one of them, the idea of you're in a conversation or you're in a situation and you know what's going to happen, I feel like that's a slightly different sentiment. It's not like, oh, that's happened before. I felt that, like I've seen that moment before, but it's a more predictive, like, wait, this has played out before, so it's not just the here and now or what just happened. It's like you have a sense for where it's going. So I feel like that's slightly different. But either way, I will mention this because I know there was a different reaction where I talked about deja vu. But I do remember reading a theory many years ago, and who knows, maybe this was fringe, maybe this is not consensus in any way, but the essence of it was that because of the way our brains and eyes work, there may be occasions when one of your eyes catches something a microsecond, not even a millisecond, but a microsecond before the other one does, and the theory went that perhaps it's registering in your brain twice very quickly, such that you experience it, and within a microsecond it happens again to your brain's knowledge, and it's like, wait, haven't I felt that before? Haven't I seen that before? But it really wasn't before, it was before right now. So again, I have no idea if that is a derided theory. Maybe it's one among many. You know, sometimes there's different theories, none of which has a real claim to be consensus, but all of which have some measure of logic behind them and maybe empirical support. So perhaps that is part of why we have those experiences, or perhaps we're really living in a flat circle and we have all had these lives and dreams and feelings and conversations play out. Who knows? Let me know what you think, and I will see you next time. Peace.